Yes, good evening. Yes.
Yeah, you can hear me loud and clear, can't you?
Yeah, very well. I can hear you clearly.
All right, perfect. So I want to thank you so much for being here, and I understand that today we were supposed to have you and Emmanuel, but Emmanuel had actually came online last week, where we had a series of interesting discussions with Dr. Ikene, and this is just a continuation of that uh, discussion we've had. We keep want to be having these discussions with our students, with our alumni. We are trying to see if we can make it every week. If we can't make it every week, we want to see if we can at least talk to one of our students every month, so that people get to know that this opportunity that we are sharing with them, they are actually real people in a class, and there are actually people who have learned one or two things, and there are people who have appreciated the opportunities that we are sharing with them. I'm going to be reading Emmanuel's profile, and I also want to use the opportunity to say that next week Thursday we are going to have an interesting conversation with an amazing person who just got a job with one of the big companies as a data analyst. So he is going to be talking to us next week, Thursday by 6 p.m. And he just got that job. When I saw the update, I was really, I was really happy. And I said, you know what? Let us bring you on board so that people can actually hear and share some of the experience that you've had and how you got to this point. So, Emmanuel, we are so happy to have you to share with everything how it's been with you over the past couple of weeks. You've been with us, and how it's been with you generally in terms of tech. So I'm going to read your profile for those who don't know who Emmanuel is. And for those of you who are here, we have Gabriel, Julie, Lawale, and Chizorum. This will also be an opportunity for you to. This is an interactive section. You people already know that I love talking. All right. So this is an interactive section for everyone. It's not just about Emmanuel. This is an interactive section for those who are perhaps new or not. You have issues you want us to talk about. You want people to learn a particular thing. So I want to I want you guys to put on your video if you can, especially our special guest, while I read his profile. All right. See the fine bubble there. So Emmanuel,
Thank you, David.
all right. I'm trying to see how I can see the rest of your head and not your face. Okay, okay. Now I can see your nose and your eyes. All right. So, Emmanuel Olalude, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, Emmanuel Olalude.
Olalude. Okay.
Olalude.
Olalude. He is a graduate of Business Administration, University of Lagos. He's an accountant by profession with one of the growing accounting firms in Nigeria. He's also an academic researcher, a data enthusiast, and a business startup developer who loves working in an enabling environment with the goal of self-actualization and development. As an experienced communicator, he enjoys working with people from different cultures and backgrounds because it helps him to create connections in a span of time, as well as build build strong bonds and teamwork that can create new opportunities in order to reach the desired goals and outcomes. So this is a brief. There's so much I believe to Emmanuel, but this is a brief bio of Emmanuel, and it's such a pleasure to have him today. So, Auga, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you for having me in this city. It's a pleasure having you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
so
much.
you're welcome. We're going to have this section for maybe a couple of 30 minutes or 45, but just I ask random questions. Normally, if people have interviews, they would kind of send questions to me, so I prepare on time. But I don't normally do that when I'm talking with you guys because I feel that um, you already should know what to say. You don't need to research whether you love accounting or not, things like that. So I am interested in knowing how do you see your journey into tech so far?
Okay, it has been an interesting one, so to speak. I joined. Let me say, I joined the Dahel Techies as a student February this year.
Okay.
Learning, learning new things, applying them has really long. Yeah, as an accountant. So when we started February, when I started learning the Excel, Power BI, and other tech tools,
I don't
I
know.
started
Hello.
gaining.
I don't know. Can you guys, sorry, those of you listening, is it clear enough? Simando, clear enough?
No, he's breaking.
Okay. So maybe you could, like Emmanuel, you could like maybe use one device or use a headphone or just come closer to your device, something like that. Yeah, you can unmute, I think. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can anyone else hear him clearly now?
That's better.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so as I was saying earlier on before the interruption, I joined the Biotech in February 2022, this year. So then when I joined, I was practically a novice. I didn't know, little do I know, I knew nothing about tech and all that. But as went on, I started gaining interest in it, to the point that I can't do without going over what I've been taught in class, what Mr. David and Mr. Samuel taught over the class. I keep practicalizing them over and over again. So to the point that we were given a project. I don't know if you can remember very well. I was the team lead for Group 4. We were given a project. So in that project assigned group, we're given a project to dissect, look for ways to solve the data set given to us. First thing, you have to cleaning the data, analyzing it, and the information you want to visualize, the information you are trying to bring out of that particular data set matter. So in the long run, it has been an interesting one, so to speak, because anything about data analysis and all that is about information sharing. You are trying to pass across an information to an audience, to a particular set of people. So that kind of information that they need will help them in whatsoever research they want to carry on and all. So it has really been an interesting moment in in the tech world.
All
Thank
right,
you.
all right. Thank you so much. Do you see do you see any relationship between what you studied in school as a business administrator and what you are currently doing now as an accountant? By the way, it's kind of, before you answer, it's kind of Not strange, because I know that I also didn't have a data analysis background. It's not strange for people to want to switch. But why did you switch from business analysis to accounting, right? And then now you are a data analyst. Let's talk about that journey, because I know that there are people who are going to be listening to this that will be wondering why they switch, and maybe they'll ask themselves, why should they switch in the first place?
Okay, I won't say it's a switch, so to speak,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I won't say it's a switch. Because if you ask me if I'm an accountant, I will say yes. If you ask me if I'm a data analyst, I will say yes. If you ask me if I'm a business researcher, I will say yes. But one thing I just want to bring out here is that they all correlate with with one another. There's a correlation between them. Now, as a data analyst now, you deal with information, practically information. As a business-minded person, you will need information, economic information. Now relate the two. The information you are going to gather from the business world and to with the data analyst experience you've gotten so far. Now merge the two together. You see that they are all speaking one loud language: information sharing. Now, data analysis is about you visualizing that information you've gotten so far. Let me say, for instance, now, of recent in Nigeria, the CBN released their new policy in regards to money circulation, cash flow, and all that. That particular information now, do you know that now that information from the business world, what effects does it have? Now bring a data set. If you have statistics in relation to that information I just provided, now use that information that you've gotten from that business one, visualize it, make information out of it, bring sense out of it. By that, you are bringing out an information that people can easily relate with and be able to simplify one or two things from that particular information. So I won't say, like I said earlier, I won't say it's a switch for me. It's not a switch because I'm still practicing as an accountant. I'm still undergoing my business research and academic research, and I'm also applying the experience from data analysis and all that. So all what I've been doing so far is to bring the correlation in between them in terms of information sharing.
Okay.
So
All right.
what I will just say to wrap up this question is you can be a lawyer and still be a data analyst. You can be a doctor. Even in my team, in our team, we had a doctor, a medical practitioner. So you can imagine what is a medical practitioner doing with data. What does it have to do with data? Yes, it needs data because his patients now, lastly, they will need statistics to know the number of rates that, oh, what is the mortality rates? That all those kind of information. Are you telling me that a medical doctor will not need that kind of information? So they all correlate with each other. So information is very key in any profession you want to start with. So the correlation is very, so I won't say it's a switch for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. That was a smart way of responding. Looking at the fact that some persons are just they hear of the word data analysis. This is what I tell people normally. If you want to do anything about tech, ask yourself, what is your career path like? Okay. And if you get to understand what your career path is like, you will be far more willing to incorporate certain tools, perhaps data analytic tools, to help you in making your work presently make a lot of sense. For instance, we have a lot of people who are like you, Emmanuel. I think We also had another, our last guest last week was also Manuel, yeah, an accountant. And yeah, pretty much we have accountants who are making money and who are actually leveraging on data analytics. And he said something that was really funny. I won't forget. And that is going to take me to asking you this question now. When was the first time you realized that data analytics was really important for you?
Okay, I would say back then in school, I've had this mind that when I see computer science students, when I see them on the system doing one or two magic, I'll be wondering, are this one really serious and all that? You spend all the whole day on the system achieving nothing. And meanwhile, it's a wrong perception from my own angle. But as time grew on and on, I began to change that orientation, that mentality that it seems there is a new oil in place that we've not discovered. It seems there's a new oil that we've not discovered that will spark out money. So this particular what actually even grew my interest was that around January, my sister sent me a message that this and this. So because she saw the post, the advertorial on Facebook, she sent me a message. She said, Emmanuel, you need to pick up this course and that I need to upskill. So at that point, I was even making excuses that which time do I have for myself? That I will not say I want to come on board with data analysis and all that. She kept encouraging me. At a point, I said, wow, I'm beginning to enjoy this. In fact, to a point that she will ask me, Emmanuel, say you will not go to work, do this. I said, don't worry, I will handle that one later. In the midnight, at the middle of the night, I kept watching videos, practicing, watching YouTube videos and all, just to expand the practical knowledge I've gotten from the whole training session. So one thing that is very key is that your purpose. What do you aim to achieve in the long run? It matters. It goes a very long way. If you are the career person, now Nigeria economy is. Let me be frank now. Nigeria economy is nothing to write home about, and our leaders are not really helping matters. So now your on the job salary, your 8 to 5 job, 8 to 6 p.m. job, can it sustain you? There's one, I mentioned interest. Now, second point I'm going to look at this. There are so many factors that will drive one into starting new things that you've not even started before. The economy is not friendly, so to speak. So now, looking at data analysis and the tech world, it's like a new avenue to make more streams of income. So I looked at that, I pictured myself, I sat myself down and I said, things cannot continue this way. I need to upskill. If I travel today now, or I move out of this country, I'll be going to a developed country whereby my skill will be far, far, far below. So now how do I meet up to that level? You need to take up some tech courses that will make you measure up to that particular standard that you can even say, oh, I can even beat my chest that I can even measure up one-on-one with those citizens from that developed countries. So many factors will actually drive you into learning. So that's I said, one, purpose, your interests. That's a factor on its own. And the second one you must consider is your purpose. What do you aim to achieve? What is your long-term goal in terms of your career and in terms of your skills? How do you want to develop skills? To be frank, I don't know if there are students here. Your certificate is not enough to fetch you income. Is what you have, your skills. I'm talking from the business world now. What you have, what can you offer? What can you give? What value can you render? So thank you, Mr. David. I'll
That's
stop
true.
at this
I
point.
really appreciate the fact that you talked about personal interest and how you approached your learning from the very first time your sister. And by the way, she should be an amazing person. I I think I'm the eldest in my family, so basically I'm the one that refers things to people and not the other way around. But for you to have someone like your sister, you are very lucky to have people refer you to. But I must not always forget the story I keep telling people about that teacher I had in secondary school. I talked about this story last week. He was the very first person that told me when we're having Microsoft just built a new facility in Calabar. This was like 20 years ago. And I was still in secondary school then. I think I was in my final year. And then this teacher walked up to me and told me that, look, I should go and enroll for this course. And then, like you, I was like, where do I have the time? I'm the sanitary prefect, and after school, I need to attend lessons, blah, blah, blah. I kept giving excuses until I started seeing the insistence from his part. And he kept telling me to go and enroll. This thing, you are not going to regret it. And those days we used to have these big monitors on we still have monitors now, but not many people use it. Uh, yeah, we have laptops and pads and all that, but we used to have these big monitors then, CPU, a big box. And if laptops were pretty much heavy then, you always see people carrying this very big bag. And I saw this man open the bag, and they open the laptop, he had to flip it over, and I was like, nah, that's cool. I would love to have one of that these days. And he was like, no, you gotta work hard. Yeah, and then you would have it. So that interest, someone encouraged me, I took interest. It really helped me when I went into university, because that's what I was doing. I never paid anybody to type my thesis for me or dissertations. I was the one doing all the typing. I understood everything about Microsoft Word at the time and Microsoft Excel, just the basics. And I was there just because of a single introduction. So it's very important that you brought that up. And the second thing you brought up, I want to really emphasize again, is the fact that people, when you introduce something to me as a person, I am going to get what you introduce to me as basically as just the basics. I am going to go to YouTube. I'm going to go to some of these online platforms. I'm going to comb and get the best type of information. There are certain things I didn't know now. Uh, I didn't know, sorry, when I was learning data analytics, right? But the more I got into business, the more I got into the software, the more I talked with people, the more I watched YouTube videos as well, the more I asked people who were my mentors, the more I knew. So that's an additional language there. That's an additional thing. You would know far better, sometimes even more than your own colleagues, when you dare yourself to go and do extra research. Our training is hands-on. You've been there already. You know we don't have time for theory. But what is Microsoft Excel? What is SQL Server? We don't have that time. We just go straight to tell you, right?
The beauty of the training is that if you actually
Uh,
if it is what you do, you in fact you will enjoy it. Like I remember saying that back then for the training. Remember the back then they said like 10,000. But now with I could work on Excel, bring out my
Uh-huh.
output, and it's my job easier and more efficient for me. So it's a process that I know that people need to undergo, and they need to undergo this process on a daily basis. If not daily, like make out time for it. It's
Yeah.
about sacrifice. I must tell you the truth. Sacrifice and to pay in the long run.
Mm. Thank you. And that's why when people introduce me to something, I go do extra research. I want to know more. You may tell me about the theoretical aspect of, or maybe the practical aspect of it, but I'm just going to go back to my drawing board and try to find out what, how can I understand this concept better? How can I get to understand this concept? So I get to do that um, a lot and most of the time. And I think the last point you raised again was what was the last point? Let me see. I remember. Yeah, you talked about the fact that you were in a team of people who were actually medical doctors, people who
Yes,
were,
yeah, professional.
yeah, people who are doing things different from you, really. Because I do tell people that tech is simply an enabler. If whatever career
Mm,
path you pick for yourself, ask yourself, how can I be better? How can I perform my functions better? And as far as I'm concerned, whether you are whatever thing you're doing, there is definitely going to be an influence of you needing someone to either compute. If you are a business person, if you run a business, you need somebody to at least calculate your profit and loss. You need somebody to show you if your business is doing well or not, and things like that. And that will take me to, I have two more questions I'm going to ask you. And the other one is, just tell me about your experience with Dahel Techies. How have you seen the learning outcome so far? Would you recommend it for anybody? And what was your favorite course or topic, as it were? Is there anything that you feel that you know better now compared to before you enrolled for the session?
okay. Like I said earlier, it has been an interesting moment with Dahel. I must acknowledge the fact that I need to appreciate the effort of Mr. David and Mr. Samuel. I don't know if it's on this call because for them to take out their personal time, sacrifice that time. Sorry, Mr. Samuel. I'll be wondering, a professional working and still be having time for lectures in the night. I mean, it's a whole lot, so to speak, in this Lagos environment. Stress alone cannot. So I would say my experience so far with Dahel Tech,
Hmm.
the training, there is a breakdown analysis of every training, every topic for each training. If they don't get understanding of what you don't know, you can ask questions. That's why if we ask question, we never miss the root. There's room for questions and there's room for answers. So the videos, the tools, and the platform that we're given to learn has really given us a whole lot of exposure. Take for instance now, after the whole learning now, put yourself out, you start building your portfolio, post yourself on LinkedIn, you post yourself on YouTube and other channels like that. Like that, you are selling yourself and you're also indirectly you are networking, you are building your connection. So the health tech has really helped us, has groomed us to that extent that we can independently network with different people from different part of the world. Now, let me talk briefly about my Upwork profile now. Now, if I don't have um, an experience from the training and all that, will I bring up a portfolio and post? It's not possible. It's from what you've learned so far. It's from what I've learned from the training, from all those sessions, that I've been able to practicalize, make a sense out of it, then bring myself out. Bringing myself out is I'm actually looking for connection. And at the same time, networking is taking place. You get
Mm.
to meet people and you keep building. So Dahel Techie has been a wonderful place to learn. In fact, if I must to say, I've recommended Dahel Techies to so many people that I know that, yes, they really need someone that can give a breakdown of what data analysis is all about. So the most interesting part of it all for me during the training, I'll talk about the Excel and the Power BI. Excel has so many millions of functions that in fact, you can't even discover you can't discover all. But with research and constant practice and on the job training and all that, you get to know more about those Excel functions. So the health techie has actually given a platform for exposure. And let me talk briefly about the Power BI training. The Power BI training, before you even learn the Power BI, you must have gone through Tableau.
Mm.
Now, you have to now compare Tableau and Power BI. You will see that there is a difference between the two. One, you get to be more interested in it in terms of its visualization, its ease of application.
Mm.
So that training has really simplified a lot of things and has even made learning easier for me. So I would still recommend to students listening to me out there that go over the training. If there is need for you to make further research, the YouTube is there. Learn more from YouTube. I could remember one of those projects, those assignments we were giving. It's on is it Netflix data sets. In fact, it took us almost a month for us to be able to break down what that data set is all about after series of meetings. So I now took up that interest, went to YouTube, make in-depth research about that data set. And to be honest, someone has even done a visualization on that particular data set. And when I just posted it on the group chat, everyone was like, so this thing that we've been battling with for over a month, under just a minute or 5 minutes, we're able to even get a video on YouTube. So that's when research comes in. Now, you've gotten that experience now. That experience now, we even expose you that anytime I have issues, or either with Excel or Power BI, first of all, let me ask myself, what can I do? What research can I make? Which source can I go to be able to get my answer? So it's very, very important that we take learning seriously and be more conscious of the fact that this is a process for me to achieve my set goal.
Mm.
So
Wow, thank you.
I can take more questions.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you one more question, but for those who are listening, if you have any question for Emmanuel or even for me, you could just unmute yourself and ask the question. And let's see how it goes. But for Emmanuel, you mentioned Upwork a few minutes ago. Have you had the experience of getting a job through Upwork, or do you know somebody who've had that experience? Or do you have a group of friends who are data analysts or who are working in the tech sphere? You could just share so that we know that these things are actually possible.
Yeah, let me be candid with you all. it's actually real. You can actually get a job through that platform and not every other platform. Like I said, it depends on how you build your portfolio. Your portfolio matters. What are you presenting? What will they see? So back then, about few months after I commenced training with Dahel Techies, March or thereabouts, March or June thereabout, I had a colleague in the office. That one has been into it, the data analyst. Can see my colleague is an accountant too. So that is to tell you that your profession is not a barrier. The career path you are even in is not a barrier at all. It's just a matter of interest and your ability to put time into it. So the colleague I was actually mentioning about has been into it a long time, making money from Upwork and getting income from it. So over time, once you do a job, you've actually built a portfolio for a little portfolio that you can add to what you have, your existing ones. So Upwork will give you that platform to connect with employers from around the world. For of recent now, I got a paid job, but due to time, I had to reduce the number of hours because of my current 8 to 5 job. So now, that particular platform has given me the ability to make extra income. So after the whole training, you can actually build your portfolio little by little. Post it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn too is also very important. Build your LinkedIn profile. Let people, your profile is your selling point. So I was able to get an engagement via LinkedIn and Upwork, and in which I'm still currently building till I get a full-time job, so to speak, from those platforms. So it should be an enabling tool for also for data analysts. So my advice so far is that you need to take portfolio building very serious. The end product is about your portfolio, not your visual. Your visual, you can just do a visual and then keep it. But the end product is you building that portfolio. Let people see what you do. It's very, very important. So thank you.
Thanks so much. And thanks for re-emphasizing that, because I know that it is very, very critical for those of us who are behind the health techies to try as much as we can to introduce our students to portfolio. And I remember sharing this story with some of you, or maybe some persons, some other group, about a particular woman who reached out to me and complained that the husband couldn't find a job even when he was so skilled as a data analyst. And then I said, okay, well, I cannot have this discussion with you. If you don't mind, can you tell your husband to please send me a chat or send me a hi, let's have a chat. So after a few days, he sent me a message and we got talking. Then I asked him some really straight to the point questions like, um, what places have you applied for jobs? Do you know about this platform? Do you know about this? I mentioned a tons of platforms, and he said, well, the only one he knows about is Upwork, and then he just got discouraged. And I said, all right, all right, all right. So let's leave the platform. Do you have a portfolio that if I ask you to share what you've done, projects you've worked on, can you share them with me? He said he doesn't. What about a LinkedIn account? He said, well, he has a LinkedIn account, but he's not active. I said, my brother, do you expect somebody to carry one goat and one rice to come to your house and tell you, Dede, eh? They'll come outside, come and walk. This
If
thing
you
don't
do,
work. This thing don't work like that. If you have the skill, you need to. Having skills is just one game. The other side of the
mm,
coin is knowing where to market those skills. It's knowing the
yeah,
other side is knowing where to market it. It means absolutely nothing to me. So I'm happy that you brought that issue about Upwork and remote jobs. It's just a possibility of even a simple Google search. A simple Google search. Someone asked me that question today. Are there remote jobs for data analysts? I wanted to get pissed off by the question, but then I discovered, man, maybe this person just genuinely do not know. So I have to tell her, you know what? A simple Google search of remote jobs for data analysts can actually answer this question. So go and check it out. So there are people, I'm saying this to all of us listening, there are people who the distance between where you want to be and where you are at the moment is the bridge called information.
yeah,
Is a bridge called information and is a bridge called networking. Information is like the floor where you walk to the other side. Networking is like the rails, those things that prevent cars from driving into the water or driving into the dent. Those rails you see on top of the bridge, those ones, I call them networking, right? So for whatever reason, if you are afraid to ride on information to go to the other part of the other part of your life, just move over to the rails, touch it, try to follow it. You are still working on information, but the rails are going to guide you. They are going to guide you to the end. And when you get there, you will no longer see the rails. It means you have arrived at a place where you don't need these people anymore. Okay. You can go to the next bridge where you meet new mentors, but that bridge is going to be bigger than the one you just crossed. So it's very, very important. And thank you for mentioning that, really. So
I,
thank you.
I,
Um,
I guess the reason why most people don't really take it seriously. They feel research is time taking, but actually it's not time taking. People
uh,
can do research. Most of all these jobs, you don't see them outside at all. Most of all these jobs that people get, you don't see them outside. People make research to get it. Portfolio building is very important. Some people just work, employers look at people's profile, look at personal public post. So I will say for emphasis sake, profile is very important. And again, I also mention this. If you try something today and someone keep trying it till you get it. When you get it, you'll be happy that thank God I didn't give up along the line. So it's a
mm,
very good one for emphasis sake.
yeah. Thank you very much for bringing that up, and I appreciate you emphasizing and re-emphasizing that as a matter of fact. So I want to acknowledge some of our guests. I always know that each time we have interviews like this at 6:30, people are coming back from work, right? And then 12:30, people are kind of like uh, going for lunch in the United States or in other places. So it's always a
So,
busy time, but this is going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel for generations of people to listen and see possibilities in. So I want to acknowledge Tochi, are you here? Julie, Ekene, Koka, Yemisi, Akinwade, Ada. Are you guys here? I want to
Yes,
acknowledge
yes,
all
I'm
of
here.
them. All right, thank you.
Yes,
Mhm.
You guys have been quiet. How has it been? Do you have any word for us? Is your turn to?
Apologies, so I can't
Okay.
listen much.
All right, all right. Coca, what were you saying? And for those who are just joining, I want to remind us that next week, Thursday, by 6 p.m. WAT or 12 noon next week, we have another guest who is going to be. I'm all really excited to be having this guest with us because he just got a job with one of the biggest companies in Nigeria as a data analyst. And it's not easy to penetrate into some of these companies. So he has agreed to come and share with us certain tips. And if you are looking forward to working offline, not just remotely, please try to attend that interview. I will also give you guys an opportunity to network with him as well. Remember that what we are doing in all of these sections is to introduce you guys to people that are actually meaningful and people that can help you grow your career, whatever that is and whatever that could be, especially with regards to tech. And there are people also that have been scheduled to have interviews with us coming next year. In the United States, we have people who are working with Microsoft, with Google, and some of the fan companies who have actually we have slotted out time for them to come and share with us what and how the journey have been like. So that you remember, I'm a firm believer that success can be replicated. If there are people doing certain things that you admire, and if you want to follow their footsteps, it's quite easy. You just need to know the right information the same way that they did know those information. So I'm going to leave it here, and maybe we'll have Emmanuel, our guest. If you have any final or special words with us, you could just share that. But I really want to appreciate you and all of you here.
Okay.
Just thank you. I just want to say one or two things.
All
My
right,
name is
Kuka.
yes. Well, so far it's been like a roller coaster of opportunity for me because where I have been is like everybody has just been sitting in the same place. Government workers, they don't improve themselves, and everybody is like on the same level. So right now, the I work with a large file of large database, some like hundreds of thousands of records. So far now, what certain things I take a longer period to do is like shorter now. Certain things I never thought I could really understand and do faster. I've been able to do it much faster, be able to work faster and think faster and then be more productive. It's like it has really exposed me to a lot of things, and I must appreciate you for this opportunity, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for enrolling. Kuka, you should have brought a bottle of Coke for this interview, and we should be having this section with you as well. See, you are making money and you didn't even send tithes to us, huh?
Well, we're just taking it step one at a time.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Kenneth, I think I see you so well. And thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Tochi and
Good
Inwase,
evening.
thank you.
Welcome.
Yo, so Emmanuel, I'm hoping to meet us again next week, Thursday. Let's
Yeah.
please this let's share the flyer that will be ready hopefully this weekend with people because it's very good to have our next guest to have a large number of people participants because I mean, it's not easy to have a job as a data analyst in some of these top companies, but once we're able to get hold of someone from our community or someone we know who got hold of this opportunity, we need to come and ask him to request of him rather to share some of the things that he considers important for us. So, final words, Emmanuel.
Okay, I will say thank you for having me for this session. It's been an interesting one. And one last thought before I take my leave. I will say we should not give up. Let's be consistent with whatever we are doing. Our learning process is a procedure to getting to somewhere. What you are doing right now, you may not know the benefits now. But at a later time, you will know why you want that process. Because you're actually going through this process to achieve something. And at the long run, it will help. So I will say keep learning, keep putting in mind. Let your consistency continue that way. It will help you in the long run. I'm sure the big continue like this. He was consistent with whatever he was doing. So we just use this as a channel for everyone. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep asking questions till you get the answers you've been aiming to get. Thank you for having me. Been a wonderful time.
Thank you very much, and thank you for accepting to be on with us during this section. And I really appreciate it. We also really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get to continue conversations. Let's put in our best, hopefully, and the more we keep building the Dahel Techies family, and we hope that a lot more people would understand that these opportunities are possible and even help themselves really to improve on their personal career outcomes and perhaps maybe community uh, or their immediate outcomes, whatever that may be. So thanks so much, and we're over an hour into
Thank
the
you.
interview, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate Emmanuel and for those who participated. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Well done, Emmanuel.